Ladies and gentlemen, good readers of the Good Ride, we're talking about the Tranny Finder today, and we like earlier this season we reviewed the 57, and we compared it to the puzzle behind us. And recently, when just up on the hill the last few days, we were riding the Tranny Finder 54, the Stealth 63, and the Puzzle 161. We got on this, and this versus the 57, Tranny Finder, so much better, wasn't it?
Way more user friendly. I own the 57. Great board, just very difficult to control for me. I love straight lining. I'm not a powerhouse by any means, but the 54 is way better. Softer, a little bit more user friendly. Still great in powder. You can set it back and get surfy. You can put it on the reference stance and ride switch. Quite a bit of taper.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But you know what I would say about the taper is you didn't feel the taper like you think you would looking at the specs.
It's true.
And let me do a quick spec check here, because we did not. Keep talking, Grant.
No, I mean, love this board. Rode it against like a bunch of other amazing boards that are free ride and powder. Yeah, this thing's great. Tons of pop off the tail. Good board for someone who only rides directional and wants to.
So we're looking at, I never would have guessed this riding this on snow. We're looking at 31.3 versus 28.7. So that's what, 26 mil of taper? Is that right?
31.3.
13 and 13.
Yes, correct.
Wow, that's nuts. And it's 26 mil waist width. Whiskey.
Perfect.
Why am I saying what way? But
perfect.
Yeah.
26 is on point for me.
Well, it
love
even
it.
felt great for my nines.
Yeah.
And it felt like,
Deep-ish.
I don't know how to describe it. Just, it's so versatile. It's for somebody who likes the somewhat tapered surfy feel, but still likes that kind of directional, but not as tapered feel that freeride can give you.
Right.
This is that great board, because if you set it all the way back, we've ridden this a few days now. I've ridden this 3 days, and I set it all the way back. I set it pretty far forward and then reference, and man, set all the way back, it can get pretty surfy and slashy, but not too washy. It doesn't wash. It doesn't just let go. You can carve a little bit off your front foot.
Decent amount of camber.
Yeah.
Helps that, I think.
Yeah, there's lots of camber, and however the side cut plays into, let's see, what are we looking at here? There's only a 20 mil setback, which is kind of your typical all mountain board. But then you've got 26 mil of taper. That's a lot. That's above and beyond most what we would call free ride boards. And then, so it just kind of defies a lot of personalities. It was one of those boards this and the six stick were really fun to ride switch.
Yeah.
The six stick was better. That whatever tapered twin means. Really worked.
This was a faster board, a little bit more locked in, definitely better in powder.
More drivey camber, really carved better. I just can't tell you the difference between this and the 157. The 57 felt so much board. I felt like I just didn't have...
Felt like a 65.
Yeah, I didn't have the get up and go,
It was a beast.
Yeah.
57 was a beast. This one is slightly more tame. And I guess you can see our specs below, but 54 is really
Yeah.
fun.
And check on the table because 20 mil of taper, 20 mil of setback on side cut is not that much, but setback on board, you're going to see a good bit going on here. And just like, the 57, it's you can get pretty far back on board. And we had a little bit of powder. We had a powder day yesterday.
So good.
Super fun. And this actually did a really good job, floating even with like a little bit forward on the reference stance. And I wish I'd set it back, but it was one of those don't know it days, I just didn't.
Still had a great time.
Amazing time,
Yeah.
but you're like...
And this was still, of the day, this was like hands down my favorite
It was
board.
a good time with
Yeah.
no time to change the stances. It
Yeah.
was too exciting. It was too much fun. And I think this board has a lot of versatility because you can ride it forward on the stance. And it seems like 22 plays really well up and down on this stance range. And you can ride it forward and go carve groomers and have fun. Even ride switch, take off. Like as you can see, cheers to Mason.
Showing us some cool kickers around the mountain yesterday.
Learning new places, finding things out, What do we call it? Learning and growing,
More or
But
less.
yeah, thanks for helping us learn and grow.
Yeah.
And I found it was pretty easy switch. It's just got that like, it's not great at anything when it comes to directional riding, but it's really good at everything.
It's like an 8 out of 10, 7 out of 10, 7 to 8
Everywhere.
out of 10 for
It's a
everything.
7 out of 10 everywhere.
Great.
Where like boards like where we were riding Gentum sticks against this, and this just has way more camber, just way more pop and aggressiveness. But the Gentum sticks like had this kind of like cool, like smoother, kind of surfy kind of way about them, right? Like
Yeah.
if you're comparing this to like the Manta Ray or even more relevant, the Stingray. They were
I
just
think the Stingray is a really good comparison to this
Yeah.
board. Yeah.
where this felt like there were a few points where the Stingray really shined, but there were a few points where like the Stingray like didn't feel like right there.
When it's tracked out and you want to point it and get out of there and get back
Yeah.
on the lift so you can get some more good stuff.
Or
This is your board.
Or really,
Yeah.
like, what I loved about this is, like, when I hit this bump line, not huge bumps, because that's not really what we're...
Right.
But just tracked up, fucked up shit.
We're not mogul boarders.
Yeah, it was just like this. Like, just trying to weave in and out of that
Yeah.
stuff. This thing did amazing. Like, the 57, that would have been a nightmare.
It's the camber.
Well, it's the camber, it's the taper, it's the just
Right.
the way it turns. And it's funny, I hear that like a lot of Korua boards are kind of the same in between,
right.
like on side cut, but they're all so different personality.
They ride totally different.
Yeah.
And of the Korua boards, maybe this is the 54 training. I haven't ridden all of them, but the ones I have ridden, the 54 training finder so far, favorite for me.
Yeah, and
Suits
I
my
can
riding
totally
style.
see that.
And
Yeah.
it's a great board.
And for me, it's like I still feel kind of like in a lot of ways, and the verdict's out. It's just like day to day, condition to
Right.
condition. But when I'm riding a puzzle, like the way the puzzle shines in certain situations, like off the tail carving, and that quick turning and the powder float, the puzzle still like shines in certain areas that just really tickles my taint, and this does everything really well, but nothing like amazing. But it's just like this great board for anybody who's mostly directional, loves getting some air, It's not a real charger. Like, check this flex out. Like, it's stiff, but it's just a little softer than like the Stingray and the Manta Ray, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, softer.
Especially on.
It's got definitely more of a bend in the middle.
Thank you for the footy.
But
yeah.
also, like, depending on your weight, there's like that's another thing. But for me, straight lining with this was like stable. You can like get through, all the tracked out stuff into a groomer, get back to the lift.
Yeah.
It definitely was not unstable.
Especially on snow.
Yeah.
It feels like softer and more playful than you would think.
Yeah.
And it's no, like, look, if you're used to riding like hybrid rocker or, something that's just like really loose, this board will fuck you up.
Yeah.
But I mean,
fun.
compared to a lot of other like mostly camber boards with just some early rise in the nose, this is pretty chill. And it, Ty at Gravity Sports was riding it today.
Hey Ty. Hope you're watching live.
And Mason. The live premiere, yeah. Nova Aquatics, yeah. But Ty was riding this, and he said the same kind of thing as Mason did the day before, and you and myself. He's like, it's a fun board, but in Ty's words, I think, he's like, it's a fun board as long as you're not really, really pushing it.
Yeah.
Because for some reason, there are other boards that just have a little more get up and go when you're going big. But it's got a lot of pop. It's got a lot of camber. It's got a lot of versatility in terms of stance width and where you want to put it on the board.
Right.
And you can set it all the way back and get pretty surfy and slashy and have a powder fun time.
Right.
And then kind of on groomers, you can bring it a little more up and get really carvy and really even throw it around switch, hit some kickers, hit some trannies, and really have a fun time. So that's kind of how I see the tranny finder. You see the same way?
Yeah.
Yeah.
54 is a little mellow, but pretty good for most stuff. 57 is kind of a beast.
57's too much.
Something in between would be cool.
Yeah, I'd love
that. Maybe like a 55.5.
I was just about to say
or a 55.75. Even better.
There you go.